Singing the Blues, Part 2. The first time I attended a live music concert was at the City Music Hall. I arrived 2 hours earlier than the concert start time and found myself in the company of a large crowd who were filtering into the auditorium, which was just starting to fill up. Before entering the auditorium, I handed over my ticket to the ticket checker who was standing at the door. Since there were no specific seat numbers allocated to one's ticket, I hurried to find a seat. Once I'd secured my seat, I saw a number of technicians on stage making sure that everything was working properly. Some tested the sound projection, others tested the instruments, and others tested the lighting system. The auditorium was buzzing with excited chatter from the crowd, who were eagerly waiting to watch the country's top musician, named ACE, who had several award-winning songs to his name and had collaborated with many international artists. Today was Jason's debut show, and he had arrived several hours earlier to get ready for the gig. He was backstage making final touches to his impending curtain-raising performance. The show promoter had slotted him to perform 3 songs. The main act ACE had not yet arrived, and he was expected to arrive 30 minutes before his grand entrance. Jason had practiced for 3 full days to ensure that he would be prepared to give his best performance. During his last practice, he performed in front of 2 of his friends and me, and we had given him the nod. It was at exactly 8 o'clock in the evening when the show host came onto the stage and welcomed the crowd and promised them an electrifying performance by ACE. Then, to kickstart the show, he invited Jason to come to the stage and curtain raise. The crowd cheered for him as Jason bounded onto the stage. He introduced himself and informed the crowd that he was going to sing 3 songs that were his own compositions. A girl who was sitting next to me gave me a soft nudge and said, "That guy is very talented. He was the guest artist at my sister's wedding last week. I don't think he's yet known, but I think he's going to grab people's attention very soon." I was tempted to tell the girl that the guy she mentioned was my boyfriend, but I just smiled back at her. Jason belted out his 3 songs and then he bowed and blew a kiss to the crowd, but the crowd demanded an encore. He was unsure if he could oblige, so he looked in the direction of the show host, who from the wings of the stage gave him the thumbs up sign. Before delivering the encore song, Jason told the crowd, "The song I'm going to sing next is dedicated to my girlfriend who is seated somewhere in the auditorium. I love you, Sylvia," he added. The song was beautiful and special. It depicted romantic words that conveyed the depth of Jason's love for me. I wished that I could walk up the stage and give Jason a big hug. After singing the romantic song, which left many women thinking that Jason's girlfriend was the luckiest woman on earth, he quickly disappeared off stage, to make way for the much-awaited and much-acclaimed appearance of ACE. The girl seated next to me nudged me again and said, "How I wish I was Jason's girlfriend and listening to my boyfriend proclaim his love for me in a beautiful love song." Again, I felt tempted to tell her that I was the girl whom Jason was singing about, but then I just responded, "It's very sweet of him to write such a beautiful love song for his girlfriend." The show host bounced back on the stage and gave thanks to the opening act and then told the crowd to get ready to welcome the man whom they had been waiting for. ACE walked onto the stage amid wild applause from the screaming music fanatics, and neon lights flashed across the stage. ACE's 2 hours of performance was amazing, from beginning to end. He sang a couple of songs from his newest album while the other songs were taken from his former albums. The crowd swayed to his music and sang along with him. The show went off without a hitch, and after ACE's last song, he left the stage, and then shortly after everyone started leaving the theater. I waited for Jason outside the hall. After 30 minutes he came out from backstage and ran towards me and threw his arms around me. "It was so sweet of you to sing such a beautiful love song for me. I'll never forget this day and I shall cherish the song forever. I love you to the moon and back, and I wanted the crowd to know how I feel about you. Your performance was awesome." Many people were impressed. It was both exciting and terrifying to sing in front of a large crowd for the first time. but I have a good feeling that tonight was my launching pad onto the music scene. As soon as he arrived home, Jason went on all his social media platforms and uploaded photographs and videos of his performance, and he expressed how grateful he was for the opportunity to curtain raise Ace's successful music show. While everything was taking shape for Jason musically, it was a different story regarding our relationship because my mother still had not granted us her approval. It was a bitter pill for me to swallow, and I begged her to meet and personally get to know Jason. I'm not just dating Jason for the sake of dating, and I see him as a potential future husband, I told my mother and implored her. It's important that you meet your future son-in-law. After much persistence, I was relieved when my mother finally agreed to meet Jason. My mother is not a strict disciplinarian who stamps her foot down and demands that her word is law, whether her child likes it or not, so she decided to pretend to be supportive of my relationship because she knew that sooner than later, I was going to realize on my own that my relationship with Jason was not going to work. When I told Jason the news that my mother had finally agreed to meet him, he told me that he was nervous to meet her but would try his best to make a good impression on her and hopefully gain her approval. He also hoped that my mother would not give him a hard time. End of part 2.